What do we got here?
$10,000 gold certificate from the year 1900.
Sweet. It was just a convenient place to put your gold, was with the federal government, because it's pretty tough to put $520 gold pieces in your pockets, you know?
It'd be difficult. These are no longer negotiable. You can't take it to your bank, get $10,000 for it, but they're extremely collectible. My asking price is $8,500. There's no way in the world I can sell it for a dollar under $6,000.
I mean, it is really, really cool. Is this one of the ones thrown out the window?
It was, yeah. That came out of the fire in the post office storage building, December 1935. Started as just a small little blaze, one alarm.
They were looking around seeing all these boxes full of paper. They thought it was just fuel for the fire, so they started throwing everything out the windows, and then all of a sudden there was these $10,000 bills everywhere, and people started grabbing them.
Absolutely.
But, you know, and then they got home and they put it up to the light and saw that. Payable only to the treasurer of the Federal Reserve Bank or a Federal Reserve Bank. These have all been canceled. Yeah, 1933, Franklin Roosevelt comes along. One of the economic ideas he had is the confiscation of gold in the United States. You could go to prison for having gold in your pocket, and you weren't allowed to have gold certificates because he thought if he could confiscate all the gold and raise the price of gold, he would cause massive inflation, which would help the economy. Okay, so it's already been graded, and it's a 63, which means it's well above average. I've seen probably half dozen of these things over the years. I've seen some of them that literally looks like it's a sponge and was completely ruined, and I've seen ones in really good shape. So what are you looking to get out of it?
I'd like $8,500 for the piece.
Ooh, that's a little pricey, isn't it?
Well, no, the other 63s have brought 10 to 12,000, even though you can't spend one at your local bank.
I'm thinking more like 4,500.
I could probably do 8, but 4,500 is just...
I'll tell you what, I go 4,800 bucks.
You know what? I guess I could be in the $7,500 range.
And I'm stuck at like $5,000.
Okay. No.
Okay, well, thanks for coming in.
No worries. Appreciate it.
If you change your mind, come back and see me.
Yeah.
It is really cool. $10,000 bill that's not a $10,000 bill. Hi, can I help you?
I have a 1652 copy of Elias Ashmole's Theatrum Chemicum Britannicum. In it is the secret to creating the Philosopher's Stone.
What is that?
The Philosopher's Stone was basically the secret manuscript to create gold.
So the secret's in this book?
The secrets are in this book.
And I don't know why I have never read this book before.
I have a 1652 copy of Elias Ashmole's Theatrum Chemicum Britannicum. I bought the book several years ago from an antiquarian book dealer. They say you can't turn lead into gold, but I'm hoping to take this book and turn it into cash.
I believe this is a book on alchemy.
What is alchemy?
Alchemy is the art of transmutating metals. They figured if they combine the right ingredients, mercury and some sulfur and a little lead, if you come up with a secret to that, you can live forever and make gold. Or you died.
So there's a formula that will help me turn things into gold inside this book.
There's actually quite a few formulas.
Sweet.
I know a little bit about this book. I know this was a combination of a bunch of older texts that were translated into English. Technically, this book was illegal, and the practicing of alchemy when it was printed was a capital crime, because all the countries of Europe believed if you were actually able to come up with a formula for making gold, all the gold in their treasuries would be worthless. So there's also books on alchemy that the Catholic Church actually wrote down on a list. This is a heretical book. And I think the exact punishment for being caught doing alchemy at the time was to be hung from gilded gallows. There were scientists genuinely trying to create gold and thought they might have created something, and then there was a lot of charlatans who were going around selling, you know, I got the secret manuscript, you know. It's a very interesting history.
This diagram here contained the key to all the secrets that are in this book. Have you ever heard of The Ninth Gate?
Yes.
The movie with Johnny Depp? The folding diagram there is called the 12th gate. The 9th gate is a fictional reinterpretation of the 12th gate, which that is an actual illustration from. There's a lot of interesting things that are going on in that book.
I think it's really, really cool.
Uh-huh.
How much do you want for it?
I want $23,000.
I need someone to look at it. I just don't know nearly enough about this book.
That's great.
Give me 5 minutes.
No problem. I'm really excited to have someone come, take a good look at the book, and help us understand what its value is.
Here it is, the Philosopher's Stone,
Yes, all right. I know this book. This has sort of a fraught history. Up until about 1500, alchemical works, even though the printing press had been around for 50 years, were not printed because the idea was there was only a small circle that kind of kept this among themselves, and they didn't want the public to know. And it was very important influence on later scientists. Notably, Isaac Newton used this a lot. It was his most consulted alchemical text.
Okay.
What kind of condition do you think it's in?
Let's see. Okay, because one of the things about this book is that it's really hard to find complete. It has the folding plate, which most copies don't have. That said, the thing that appears to be missing in here is a full-page engraved plate that's supposed to go here. In addition to that, looking at the condition here, this is a lot of repairs, and it's like full page. Like, it's really hard to tell here, too, like, if this entire piece here was missing.
So what do you think it's worth?
It's not a book that comes up that often. I've known a complete copy that's beautiful without all these repairs that's sold for over $30,000. But copies that are incomplete without that folding plate, $10,000 or less. So this one, with all the repairs and missing a plate, I would place more around $15,000.
You're great.
I think you turned this old dusty book into gold.
I tried. All right, thanks, Chum.
You're the
Good
best.
seeing you.
Even though this is not the ideal copy, this book is legitimately scarce. I don't think Rick would go wrong in buying this at a reasonable price.
I absolutely love this. I'll give you $9,000 for it.
I don't think I can do 9. How about 12?
No. I'll tell you what, I'll give you 10 grand for it. That's about as much as I can go. I think it's more than a fair price.
How about $10,500?
You know what, I'm feeling very generous today. I'll give you $10,003.
I'll take it.
Sweet.
Great.
You wanna go write them up?
Sure, let me get this book right
No,
here.
no, don't touch this. Just write them up, please.
Come on. Maybe you could just tell me some of those secrets so I don't have to read
I
that
sure
whole
will.
book.
I think I can actually make gold with this. Hey, how's it going?
Good, how you doing?
Good.
I have a medal I'm wondering if you might be interested in. It's a historical U.S. medal struck in 1826 for the completion of the Erie Canal. There's probably about 75 or so known today.
That is really, really cool. Yeah, these were given out when the Erie Canal was finished.
Yeah, it was kind of to celebrate the completion of that Erie Canal.
And the thing was, too, I mean, this wasn't like the Panama Canal. At least the Panama Canal had really inefficient steam shovels. This thing had guys with shovels.
Yeah, they're out there digging a ditch. The Erie Canal completion in 1826 was a major accomplishment for our country. I'm asking $2,400 for it. My wife and I are on our way to Mesa for the winter, and I decided to sell it to have some extra money for our vacation.
I've gotten a lot of strange things in before, but I've never had one of these. Where'd you get it?
Well, I collect historical U.S. medals, and I go to quite a few shows, and I picked this up at a show a few years ago.
Okay. Yeah, the Erie Canal is like the first great infrastructure project in the United States. It was a couple hundred miles long. It was a canal that connected the Great Lakes to the East Coast. Because before that, literally, you had to go up all the way up to Nova Scotia and go in through that way, which was a much longer trip.
Yeah.
It opened up the United States, changed everything.
Yeah.
How much do you want for it?
$2,400. And I think that's a very good deal, actually.
Tell you the truth, I mean, it's one of those things. I've never seen one before, so I don't know if this is in decent shape or in bad shape. Do you mind if I call in a friend and take a look at it?
No, of course not. That'd be fine.
Okay, I'll be right back. Let me call someone up, okay?
Sure.
Rick is going to call in an expert. I hope the guy has seen metals in this condition before and realizes that really is a premium piece.
What's up, man?
Not much. How you doing?
Oh, good.
Good. Hi.
Hi, I'm
All right.
Jeff. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. All right.
Voila, the Erie Canal medal.
That's incredible.
Yeah?
These are great. It's weird. They're literally metals, but in some level, I kind of feel like they're an artifact. They're just so representative of one of the great moments in American history, the completion of the Erie Canal. They were handed out to dignitaries, and they kind of got spread out all over the place. So their survival rate is reasonably low, and I don't think they were ever struck afterward. So this thing's almost 200 years old.
That's cool.
We have an inscription that says, Union of Erie with the Atlantic. And that sentiment is actually played out in this allegorical scene. You have Poseidon, who is the god of the seas, sitting next to Pan. He was a god of the woodlands.
Okay. So, the big question, what do you think this thing is worth?
This is a white metal, and the white metal are the lower echelon. A price that you could not go wrong at would be something in the neighborhood of $1,000.
Okay.
They do often trade in that price range, but those aren't metals really quite as nice as this one.
It's in excellent condition. It's not the highest, it's not the lowest. This coin is somewhere in the middle, and it could be worth more to the right collector, but I think that would be a smart price.
Thanks, man.
Thank you. Congratulations. It's a
Thank
beautiful
you.
metal.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I think it's a great coin. I love the history on it and everything. I mean, I love the story that goes along with it, but I'll give you like $800 for it.
800, well, I'm asking 2,400 for it. And I know your expert had an opinion, and I do know that they do sell in that price range, but you don't normally see this attractiveness on a typical metal. And he was talking more of a typical one. This is pretty special.
You know what? I'll tell you what. I'll give you $1,000. It's the best I can do, period.
I really would need closer to $2,000.
You have to understand, I've been dealing with Dave for a year. I really trust his opinion. $1,000 is what I could do.
Yeah, I think we're a little bit far off. I need at least $1,900. I take $1,900 for it.
Yeah, it's not going to happen. But thanks for bringing it in.
All right.
I appreciate it, man.
Well, I appreciate Rick's offer, but $1,000 is really just not a very fair offer, in my opinion. I'm sure I can sell for a lot more than that. Who knows? Maybe in Mesa, Arizona, where we're heading, I'll find somebody there that would be interested in picking it up.
What do you got there?
Hall of Fame WWE ring. It was issued to Paul Bearer.
WWE, the sort of wrestling thing.
Sort of wrestling thing.
My kids thought it was the greatest thing in the world, and then I would tell my kids it's fake, and they'd go, "Shut up, Dad."
This ring was issued to Paul Bearer's family. He was inducted into the Hall of Fame after he passed away. I became friends with the family over the last few years, and they gave the ring to me. I want to sell the ring today to get as much money as I can for me and the family that it belongs to.
Paul Bearer, that was like the Undertaker's manager or something like that?
Correct.
They put like white powder on his face to make him really look macabre, and he had like an urn he walked around with.
He
with
did,
that.
he had an urn, yeah.
Right? An
Of the
urn.
ashes, yeah.
He would like throw it on the Undertaker, and all of a sudden the Undertaker got all strong, and it was some mysterious thing like that. And it was really fun to watch. It really was. I can't imagine the orthopedic bills. You know, because even though it's choreographed, these guys still really get hurt. They really have to work
They're
out.
still breaking tables and breaking chairs, and yeah.
Yeah, they get hit in the head with sledgehammers and just walk away. It's absolutely amazing. I think it's really, really cool. How much are you looking for?
I want as much as I can get, but I think it'd be close to $22,000.
No. I don't see that there. I've sold Super Bowl rings for less money. You know, I'd give you $4 grand for it.
I've been offered more than $4,000 for it already.
It's a weird thing, you know what I mean? Because, you know, I deal a lot in sports rings, but this is not a sports ring. This is a sorta sports ring. It's really neat that he's from the Hall of Fame and all these other things, and that's why I'm offering $4 grand, but I don't see anything more than that.
Thank you for the offer. I'm going to hold on to it.
Thanks, man.
Thank you, sir. Sometimes you're better off to walk away. Hearing the offer of $4,000 made me want to pull out some WWE moves and throw somebody off the top ropes.
I have a signed copy of Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. I got it from Hunter S. Thompson.
You got it from Hunter S. Thompson? How'd you do that?
I actually spent a weekend with him in 1988.
Oh my God, and you survived.
I did survive. Hunter S. Thompson passed away quite a few years ago. I think the value of the book now is probably as high as it's going to be. In retrospect, I don't know that had I read the book ahead of time, I would have agreed to go and help him that weekend.
Tell me about the weekend with Hunter S. Thompson. That sounds like a lot of fun.
I had a call from a friend one night who worked at a resort in Phoenix saying, Hunter S. Thompson is here. He needs somebody who knows how to type to help him write an article. And in the course of about 48 hours, he got nothing written. He spent most of the weekend paranoid that somebody was out to get him.
Yeah, the guy was crazy, but people loved him. He wrote the book in 1972, and then 1998, it got really popular because Johnny Depp and Benicio del Toro made the movie. They rent a Cadillac. In the trunk of the car, they've got an obscene amount of drugs. Then he wrote like his whole manifesto on life and, you know, barely turned in an article he was supposed to write. So he signed it?
He not only signed his name, he wrote a little note to me.
Beverly, thanks for the help in that eating white trash oil slick in the desert called Phoenix. Your friend, Hunter S. Thompson. Yeah, he really was one of those guys that just didn't care what anybody else thought. Hunter S. Thompson is legendary, and Fear and Loathing is considered his masterpiece. It's just the stories about a bunch of guys just having a crazy time in Vegas. I can kind of relate to it. So, do you have any idea of what you'd want to get out of it?
I'm hoping maybe about $800.
I have no idea. I have no idea what it's worth. To be honest with you, the book really isn't worth much itself, but the whole actual handwritten note and it being signed by him, I mean, that's really, really cool. I mean, I have no doubt that someone would want to buy it. I do have a friend, though, that runs a bookstore, and if there was anybody in the world that could tell me what it's worth, it's going to be her. Do you mind if I give her a call?
Not at all. I'd actually like to hear what she has to say also.
I'm the furthest thing from a book nerd, but I love Fear and Loathing. And if everything checks out, I'm gonna have a real tough time not buying this thing.
Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. And it looks to be an inscribed copy.
It is.
Hunter Thompson said that he got into writing because it was the only thing he was good at. He said there was no drug he'd ever experienced that compared to the high of sitting at a desk and writing. So he was completely dedicated to his craft. He created a style of journalism known as gonzo journalism. It's not about the story itself, but it's about the process of getting the story that he likes to talk about.
Yeah.
Hunter S. Thompson is pretty well known in the literary world. His prose is in some cases as good as or better than some of the great 20th century writers. Well, quite frankly, the book, it's a paperback. You could buy that online for $5. There's no collectible value in the paperback itself. It is really about the signature and the inscription. One of the great things about Thompson is that he's not the type of guy to sign best wishes. You've got that long, bizarre inscription. That's the type of thing he does. And one of the things that you see with him a lot is he signs with his initials instead of a full signature. So this is pretty typical for Thompson. His H, it always looks like this W with this big loop. So the inscription is definitely real, which you knew. I would say that the retail price for it would be between $400 and $500.
That is a lot more than I thought you were gonna say. I appreciate you coming in, Rebecca. Thank you.
My pleasure. Nice to meet you.
Originally, I was hoping for maybe $800, but I really didn't have any good idea what the book was worth.
Strictly because I'm a big Hunter S. Thompson fan, I'll offer you $250.
$250? How about $375?
I gotta make more than 25 bucks off the deal. I'll go 300.
It's kind of low. He did sign it personally. How about $350?
All right, you got a deal.
I'm not surprised that he was willing to negotiate up to $350 because I could tell that he really did like Hunter S. Thompson. I have $350 and I'm really happy I was able to sell the book.
Got something here to show you, see if you're interested in it. It's an 1880 Knights Templar uniform.
That's really, really cool.
A man called John T. Long owned it, and he became a Knights Templar in 1889.
And he joined the Secret Squirrels.
The Knights Templar is an organization associated with the Masons. I have been a member for over 20 years. If they were guarding the Holy Grail, I never got invited to help.
There was the original Knights Templar, and you know their whole story?
I've been a Knights Templar for over 20 years.
Oh, okay. This story of the Knights Templar is pretty damn cool. Some of the myths were that when they did originally go to the Holy Lands during the Crusades, they found the Holy Grail. They found the Ark of the Covenant. They found all of King Solomon's gold, and before you knew it, they were the most powerful organization in all of Europe. Next thing you know, everybody owes them money. And How's the easiest way to pay somebody off when you owe money? Don't pay him, just kill him. So this is his whole kit.
Yes. All the embroidery on it is hand done. It's all in gold bullion and silver bullion. What makes this so unusual is this hasn't been touched in over 115 years, and all the silver is in beautiful condition.
Okay. I think it's really, really cool. And what were you looking to do with it?
I would like to sell it if the price is right.
And how much do you want for it?
$6,700.
It's super interesting. It's amazing work. Here's my big problem. The only person who's going to buy this is nobody.
Come on, look at this.
It's very interesting, but I have the most beautiful gold, detailed Masonic medallions and stuff like that. No one will give me a dime for them. Maybe your temple thing will buy them off you at a massively reduced rate, but it's just too damn hard to sell. Thanks for bringing it in, and have a good one.
Thank you so much. I understand it's a very difficult item to sell, but I wish you would have bought it.
Hey, what can I help you with?
I have a very famous guitar strap here, owned by the late Stevie Ray Vaughan.
It's super cool. Stevie Ray Vaughan was an amazing guitar player, probably top 10 in all the blues players in the world.
And his fan base is still out there today.
Yeah, I still listen to his music.
Yeah, I do too.
But then again, I stopped listening to new music in like 1987.
I'm coming into the pawn shop to sell my original Stevie Ray Vaughan guitar strap. I got the guitar strap at a estate sale, and one of his guitars recently sold at auction for about $600,000. So I'm asking $40,000 for it.
This is really interesting. Stevie Ray Vaughan had incredible talent. I mean, he's up there with Pete Townsend, Jimmy Page, Jimi Hendrix, of course, all those guys. Generally, he played like a Stratocaster.
Yeah.
Which is sort of weird for a blues player, because usually they want something a little deeper tone, less twangy.
Yeah, he was a big Jimi Hendrix fan, though, and of course, Jimi Hendrix was a Stratocaster.
Yeah. He actually had names for all of his guitars. They were like red, and there was yellow, and there was a Lenny after his girlfriend's name was Lenora or something like that?
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, it's in decent shape. You'd figure this if you used it a lot. Do you have any documentation?
Sure. The strap was originally sold from his close friend and manager.
1978, SRV strap, owned by Stevie Ray Vaughan. Okay. Looks like it's got a little wear on it.
Oh, you bet. That's all his sweat. It's beautiful.
All right. How much do you want for it?
$40,000.
Okay. Quite frankly, that sounds like a lot of money.
It is a lot of money. I think Lenny sold for about $600K.
Okay. That sounds about right for one of his guitars. But the guitar strap, who knows? So I'm going to get my buddy to take a look at this thing. Rock and roll memorabilia is his business.
Okay.
I'll be right back. Once you start getting further and further away from the instruments, the price sort of drops off a cliff. We're going to have to do a little more digging. Warwick.
Hello, Rick. You called?
Yes.
Oh, I know what that is. Yeah, it's the Stevie Ray Vaughan signature guitar strap.
All right.
You look at any picture, and chances are it's 50-50. He's using one of these straps.
Okay.
It's a good-looking guitar strap. It's seen the service, this one. It's been worn.
Well, he supposedly used this all the time early on.
I mean, it's got good wear to it. It's got sweat on it. That's what I like. I like that.
They mentioned sweat in here. They talk about it.
Yeah. There's a helper to Stevie Ray Vaughan, and he's swearing that he got it from Stevie Ray Vaughan. It's probably is.
So did Stevie play with this one, or?
He played with one that looked just like it. These were commercially available for all through the 80s. When you want a value to something, you've got to find out if it's 1 or 5 or 10, because it makes a big difference. So if somebody pays a lot of money for this, they want it to be the only one.
So what do you think it's worth?
There's a good market for his guitars these days. So it stands to reason that you should get a good amount of money for a Strap.
Especially this one.
So I'm putting a value of $7,000 to $10,000 at auction.
Okay.
The value sounds kind of light because this was his first music note strap.
It may be the first one, but it's the first one of several.
And there's no real proof it's the first one. I appreciate it, man.
My pleasure always. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
All right, I mean, it's really, really cool. I think 40,000 is like astronomical.
A little bit high.
I'd give you $4,000 for it.
That's a little short.
People don't spend those big dollars unless it's a guitar.
Nothing like this has ever been out there though before.
$4,000. That's what I could do. I would love for it to be worth 40 grand, but it's not.
35,000?
No, $4,000.
I can't go that low.
If you change your mind, come back and see me.
Okay.
I appreciate it.
Okay, thanks.